These are 7 spiritual teachers whose actions perfectly represent the 7 deadly sins. If we turn the story around, we'll find 7 others who embody the exact opposite, the 7 heavenly virtues. If lust defines a sinful teacher, Bikram Choudhury fits the role perfectly.
Very popular Bikram Yoga empire facing trouble over allegations of harassment. He's being sued by a former student who says he sabotaged her career.
On the flip side, Thich Nhat Hanh represents chastity through a life of mindfulness, simplicity, and ethical living, guided by pure intention and disciplined action. 2 teachers, but what makes them so vastly different? Bikram Choudhury became famous as the creator of Bikram Yoga, a style that combines 26 poses and 2 breathing exercises in a room heated to 105 degrees Fahrenheit. It became a global craze, attracting celebrities and athletes who swore by its benefits. But things were so dark behind the scenes.
These 6 women, 3 are Jane Does, 3 who have used their names. 5 of them say that you them, 1 says sexual assault. Did you actually have sex with any of these women?
Over the years, women accused him of sexual harassment and abuse.
People, and this stuff that he's teaching is really good stuff, but he's hurting people and hiding behind this good stuff so people don't believe that he's capable of hurting people. He's got to stop lying behind it.
His teacher training camps, which people paid thousands of dollars to attend, were filled with manipulation, bullying, and fear. Instead of creating a positive space, Bikram used power to control and harm others. Even after being ordered to pay damages in court, he fled the U.S., leaving his name tied to scandal. But Thich Nhat Hanh used his teachings to spread love and mindfulness. A Zen master and peace activist, he showed people how to turn simple actions, like walking or breathing, into ways to feel calm and connected. Even when exiled from Vietnam for speaking out against war, he never gave up on his message of peace.
And yet with the practice of compassion, you do not hate the Americans who come and kill us.
While Bikram's legacy is one of control and harm, Thich Nhat Hanh's is about healing and kindness. One built fear, the other built peace. It's a reminder of what true leadership should look like. When trust turns into greed, you get John of God, a man once seen as a healer, but later revealed as a predator who used people for money and power. On the other side, Tara Brach shows charity, helping people heal with compassion and guiding them toward peace and self-acceptance. But why do people call one teacher sinful and another heavenly? John of God attracted people from around the world to a spiritual center in Brazil. Celebrities like Oprah Winfrey visited the temple, believing in its supposed divine powers to heal and change lives. But behind the facade, his story was one of manipulation and harm. Over 300 women came forward accusing him of abuse.
He grabbed my hand and he moved it behind me on his pants. And I was like, why do I have to touch your in order for me to get healing?
Claiming he used his position of trust to exploit them during private sessions. What was meant to be a place of hope and healing turned into a nightmare for many. In 2019, John of God was convicted of multiple crimes, including and sentenced to prison.
His fame had been boosted by supposedly miraculous surgeries.
On the other hand, Tara Brach has spent her life teaching self-compassion and healing in a way that uplifts and empowers.
The meaning of the holy days and how through history they were times of pausing so that we humans could reconnect with something that was sacred, that we cherished. And
as a meditation teacher and psychologist, Tara helps people overcome pain and self-doubt by turning inward with kindness. Her books, like Radical Acceptance, has guided millions toward peace, not through false promises, but through understanding and connection.
so watch your thoughts with care and let them spring from love, born out of respect.
While John of God abused trust to harm, Tara Brach earns trust by helping others heal. One turned spiritual guidance into a tool of control, while the other used it to free people from suffering. That's the difference between a sinful and a heavenly spiritual teacher. Andrew Tate, though not a spiritual teacher, represents sloth by promoting lazy ways to earn money while claiming to fight the Matrix. Recently, CoffeeZilla revealed that Tate tricked people into buying his course with false promises of quick success.
Andrew Tate is a grifter, alleged human trafficker, and unfortunately, and this is true, a CoffeeZilla fan.
CoffeeZilla, who I actually kind of respected and thought had a brain.
In contrast, Byron Katie represents diligence, dedicating her life to teaching self-inquiry and helping others overcome their inner struggles. Andrew Tate built his influence on bold promises of empowerment and success.
Everybody who's watching this video to understand that if you are not extremely successful, all of your parents, your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, everyone you love and care about will be forgotten in time. Nobody will give a shit about who you are.
But beneath the surface, Tate's rise was marked by controversy. He faced accusations of exploiting his followers financially, selling false hopes of fast wealth, and even more serious allegations, including human trafficking and sex abuse. Authorities allege that Tate coerced women into creating explicit content for profit.
Tate is under house arrest and being investigated by Romanian prosecutors for accusations including human trafficking and exploiting women, which he denied.
The investigation showed that his path to success was nothing more than false promises designed to lure people in. While Andrew Tate promotes shortcuts and false promises of quick wealth, Byron Katie represents true diligence. Unlike Tate, who lures people with flashy success stories, Byron Katie teaches that real change comes from consistent effort and self-reflection. Her method, the work, was born during her own battle with severe depression.
My child, for example, knocks over a glass of milk, okay? And I say to my child, I told you to be careful. What's the matter with you? Okay, how many of you experience that as violent?
Instead of chasing external success, she turned inward, realizing that her pain didn't come from her situation, but from the thoughts she believed about. This led her to create a simple process to question stressful thoughts and see them differently. Her method asks 4 key questions. Is it true? Can you absolutely know it's true? How do you feel when you believe that thought? Who would you be without that thought? Byron Katie doesn't sell get-rich-quick schemes or promise instant success like Andrew Tate. She doesn't use manipulation or force people to prove their worth. Instead, she shows that true growth comes from questioning your thoughts and facing your struggles with honesty and effort.
If a person's mind is open to it, it works.
Where Tate's path is marked by sloth and false shortcuts, Byron Katie's path is one of diligence, which shows real growth comes from persistence, patience, and self-awareness. When pride turns into control, you get David Miscavige, a leader whose rule over Scientology sparked claims of abuse and manipulation. On the flip side, Ram Dass shows humility, teaching love, presence, and acceptance through his timeless message, Be Here Now. 2 paths to leadership, but why is one surrounded by devotion while the other by fear? David Miscavige turned Scientology into a global empire.
You haven't heard it from us. I can assure you, we are not what you expect.
But under his leadership, the church has faced serious accusations of abuse, human trafficking, manipulation, and exploitation. Former members have spoken about being cut off from their families, forced labor, and living in fear of punishment if they question the church's rules.
You literally can lose every member of your family. That happened to me. My parents, my siblings, my children, all disconnected from me.
Miscavige is also known for his aggressive tactics against critics, often using lawsuits and intimidation to silence them. On the flip side, Ram Dass built his spiritual journey on humility and love. And instead of seeking power, Ram Dass embraced humility, often calling himself a student rather than a guru.
You know, most people's hearts are open to their family, to their friends, and then there are the others.
His book, Be Here Now, wasn't about showing off wisdom, but inviting others to explore mindfulness and self-discovery. He shared his struggles openly, showing that true humility means accepting your flaws and facing life's challenges with grace. Even after a stroke left him disabled, Ram Dass continued to teach, calling his condition fierce grace.
I don't wish you the stroke, but I wish you the grace from the stroke.
He didn't see it as a defeat, but as a lesson, showing that humility is a form of strength. It means letting go of control and finding wisdom in life's toughest moments. Unlike David Miscavige, Ram Dass didn't focus on religious rituals or strict teachings.
Pull back into your head, you lost your humanity. If you stay in it, you're going to drown. So you get this balancing act.
While Miscavige's leadership grew on manipulation and division, Ram Dass's legacy is rooted in openness and unity. One used power to isolate, the other to bring people together. If you thought wisdom only created heroes, think again. Yogi Bhajan represents gluttony, not for food, but for power. His endless hunger for control was hidden behind the teachings of Kundalini Yoga. But on the other side, Robin Sharma represents temperance, showing true leadership through self-discipline, balance, and steady personal growth. Yogi Bhajan introduced Kundalini Yoga to the West and built a large following.
I know you want my attention, I'll give it to you. Stand in the tree pose there. I've finished my work. How's your sex life? Charming, sexy. Look at them. Seduce them.
His teachings inspired thousands with messages of self-discovery and spiritual growth. But after his death, former students began sharing disturbing accounts of abuse, manipulation, and exploitation within his community.
She was 17 years, and she writes in her book, but she told me also in person, he was 17 when she had to serve him with, I think, with medicine or vitamins or things like that, and he made her giving him oral sex.
They described a culture of fear and control, where questioning his authority was met with intimidation. When hunger for power becomes uncontrollable, you get Yogi Bhajan, a leader who used spirituality as a tool for control, embodying the sin of gluttony. In contrast, Robin Sharma represents temperance. Instead of chasing wealth and status, he promotes self-discipline, balance, and a purpose-driven life.
You have much higher amounts of self-discipline by building rest into your days, into your weeks, and your months.
His book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, calls for simplicity, self-leadership, and daily habits that lead to lasting change. No control, no hidden motives, just a clear path to reclaim your life with integrity and purpose.
I love this idea of winning the battle of the bed, putting...
One leader demanded loyalty, the other inspired independence. Yogi Bhajan and Robin Sharma's stories remind us that true wisdom doesn't chain you down, it sets you free. When self-help is fueled by wrath, it puts lives at risk. But when it's guided by patience, it brings true peace and challenge. And no two figures show this divide better than James Arthur Ray and Eckhart Tolle. James Arthur Ray was known as a self-help guru and a featured expert in The Secret. He promised life-changing transformations through his workshops and retreats. However, in 2009, James Arthur Ray's extreme practices took a deadly turn. During a sweat lodge ceremony at one of his events, participants were subjected to dangerously high temperatures in a poorly ventilated structure.
The paramedics arrived and they came. The guy's like, "What happened here? Is this like a mass suicide?" He said to me, and I said, "No, it was a sweat lodge."
Despite warnings about the risks, Ray pushed the group to endure the harsh conditions, and the result shocked the world. 3 people lost their lives, and many others were hospitalized, suffering from heat stroke and dehydration.
Tonight is the 2-month anniversary of the Sweat Lodge ceremony inside of this makeshift structure in Sedona, Arizona, in which 3 people died.
On the other hand, Eckhart Tolle represents patience, guiding people towards simplicity and true transformation. Unlike James Arthur Ray, who pushed people to their limits with reckless ambition, Tolle teaches that peace doesn't come from force, it comes from presence. His teachings invite people to let go of mental noise and live fully in the present moment.
Observe your breath. If you spend a lot of time that in your spare moments and so on, that would bring about an enormous influx of presence into your life.
His book, The Power of Now, has helped millions around the world find peace within themselves, which offer guidance without pressure or exploitation.
When I talk about follow your breath, you can still listen and be aware of your breathing at the same time.
While Ray's path was marked by urgency and danger, Tolle's path is one of calm awareness. One forces you to break through pain, while the other teaches you to release it. It's a clear divide between a sinful teacher and a spiritual one. Some leaders promise empowerment, but use it for control. Keith Raniere reflects envy through his desire to control and dominate others, driven by jealousy of their independence. On the other hand, Alan Watts represents kindness, using his approachable teaching style to inspire self-acceptance and inner peace. Keith Raniere started NXIVM as a self-help group that promised success and empowerment. It attracted thousands of followers, including celebrities like Allison Mack.
When I first came to ESP, I had on the surface something that seemed to be like the perfect life or a pretty good life.
But behind the success was a hidden group called DOS, where women were branded with Raniere's initials and forced into obedience.
Sometimes when people say, well, how did this happen? Like, that's so ridiculous. Did she just say yes right away? Absolutely not.
Raniere used emotional manipulation, blackmail, and fear to control members, claiming it was for their growth. In reality, it was about power and exploitation. Women in DOS endured abuse under the false promise of self-discipline and empowerment. In 2020, Raniere was convicted of crimes like sex trafficking and racketeering that exposed the horrifying truth of NXIVM.
Very proud of everything that we've done, and when I say we, Team Takedown has done to put Keith behind bars.
Alan Watts' teachings offer the complete opposite. While Raniere controlled others under the guise of growth, Watts told people to let go of control entirely.
It was his ability to understand these philosophies in a very human way, and even as children, be able to communicate to us these essential core ideas.
But here comes the crucial point in the understanding of Zen. On the one hand, if you set out to change the way you feel, that might be called a discipline.
His message was simple. Stop chasing perfection. Stop trying to fix yourself and embrace life as it is. Often called a spiritual rebel, Watts rejected the seriousness many associate with spirituality.
Today, I stand before you to explore a concept that holds immense power, yet often eludes our grasp.
Watts believed that peace comes from self-acceptance, not self-punishment. His talks and books, like The Wisdom of Insecurity, continue to inspire those seeking freedom from rigid thinking. These stories reveal the two sides of spiritual leadership, how it can uplift and heal, or manipulate and harm. On one side, sinful teachers are driven by lust, pride, and greed. Bikram Choudhury used his power for lust, facing allegations of abuse. John of God embodies greed, exploiting his followers for wealth and control. Keith Raniere's envy fueled his obsession with controlling others, while David Miscavige's pride turned loyalty into fear. Yogi Bhajan's gluttony for power revealed a darker side of his legacy, and James Arthur Ray's wrath led to reckless ambition that cost lives. On the other side, virtuous teachers are guided by kindness, humility, and patience. Thich Nhat Hanh represents chastity, living a life of purity and ethical action. Tara Brach reflects charity, offering compassion and emotional healing. Eckhart Tolle shows patience, teaching people to live in the present. Ram Dass leads with humility, while Alan Watts reflects kindness, encouraging self-acceptance. Byron Katie shows diligence, helping others face their inner struggles with honesty and clarity. These stories are more than tales of good and evil. They remind us to question power, seek wisdom, and protect the heart of true spirituality. What makes someone a true spiritual guide? Is it their teachings, their actions, or the trust they inspire? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to check out my recent video,